In today's session, we'll show you how you can use Foglight to find out the root cause for a mysterious slowdown in performance. This is the Foglight database global view. It shows all the monitoring database instances in my environment. Not that Foglight is capable of monitoring more than one database flavor, but we'll focus on SQL Server for now. The global view shows key performance indicators for each instance and highlights any relevant alarm. Both are given at database level and at the infrastructure level. In this case, we have one SQL Server instance experiencing alarms and we want to find out why. So we click on the alarm icon to find out. Notice that we have two disk queue length alarm and also some alarms related to memory latency. So we obviously have a problem here, and let's find out why. To do that, we'll drill down to the Performance Investigator dashboard. Here I can review and analyze all of the workload going on in my SQL Server instance. It allows me to view the workload in any dimension I like and then slice and dice it as I need, look at changes that occurred, analyze logs, and also use advanced analytic tools like compare. Now I notice the instance is spending most of its time waiting on I/O and writing to the log. This resonates well with the fact that we have disk queue length alarms and memory pressure. So let's find out what objects are being used. Clicking on the object I/O list, we'll see all the top objects being used. Now the top two in the list seem to be related to the same object. One is the cluster index, which is actually the table, and one is another non-cluster index on the same table. Let's view the files they are using. Clicking on the files, we see the top files are the index and the data file. Each is using about the same amount of I/O. The two files are being hit quite heavily, so I want to see if there is a problem in the underlying disk. I can further drill down to look at the wait time for the disk. And I do see read wait time is quite high on both disks. I wonder why, so I will drill down to the host level to check that out. I drill down to the host level to check what is running on my disk. The Foglight for Virtualization overview dashboard is displayed, highlighting key performance metrics for the underlying virtualization layer and allowing me to find out everything I need to know about the machine configuration and performance. I didn't even realize this instance was running on a virtual machine, but luckily for me, Foglight knows. Looking at the disk utilization, I see there is a recent spike. This confirms my suspicions that I/O and storage configuration might be the cause of the problem. Martin, am I right to assume that? Is there anything here that can confirm my suspicions or disprove them?
Yeah, certainly. We can investigate various different aspects of the VM, anything from looking at the processes that are running on the VM. We can check things like the network topology, checking for things like packet loss or utilization. But as you mentioned, we're interested in the storage here. So we click into the storage tab where we can see that there are alarms against the LUN that we have. There's actually only one LUN connected to this VM. And if we scroll down, we can see all the different offending VMs that are also utilizing this VM as well.
So all my logical disks the SQL Server you're using are actually pointed to the same physical drive?
That's correct. If you look at the capacity here, you can see you've got various different E, L and C drives, and we can see the capacity there as well. But you're right, they're all against the same LUN.
Okay, so at least we now know what the root cause of the problem is. Is there anything we can do?
Well, certainly. I mean, we can see here that this particular LUN is actually attached to 3 additional VMs, and we can see the alarms. So what I'd suggest is we move one of your file groups to a different drive on a different LUN, and we can do that by crossing it over to the storage environment where we can get more information about what's available for this particular SAN. So once we've drilled into the array, we can see various different metrics such as capacity. We can look at things like the network, pool members, the disks, but we're interested in the LUNs here. So if we drill into the LUNs aspect, there's various different things we can use here to investigate, such as looking at queue depth, ops rate, or in our case, looking at the read-write latency. And we can clearly see that for LUN 2, we've got a high amount of ops rates, queue depth, and data rates, and there's various different metrics here we can go away and explore. But what we have got available is 2 other LUNs that we could use, which have got a lot less utilization, and we could use that instead.
So all I have to do is ask my virtualization admin to just move one of those logical disks to one of these other LANs and correct the problem.
That's right.
Thank you very much, Martin. So to summarize, using Foglight for SQL Server with PI in combination with Foglight for virtualization with storage helped us pinpoint the problem and bridge the gap between the DBA and the system admin to focus our efforts correcting the real root cause of the problem, saving us both time and money.